Well, as I see it, although I have read no reports internally or anything like that, but it looks to me like Wells made some big mistakes in what they incentivize. And as Charlie says, there's nothing like incentives, but they can incentivize the wrong behavior. And I've seen that a lot of places, and that clearly existed at Wells. The interesting thing is, to the extent that they set up fake accounts, a couple million of them that had no balance in them, that could not possibly have been profitable to Wells. So you can incentivize some crazy things. The problem is, I'm sure, is that, and I don't really have any insider information on it at all, but when you find a problem, you have to do something about it. And I think that's where they probably made a mistake at Wells Fargo. They made it at Solomon. I mean, John Goodfriend would never have played around with the government. He was the CEO of Solomon in 1991. He never would have done what the bond trader did, that played around with the rules that the federal government had about government bond bidding. But when he heard about it, he didn't immediately notify the Federal Reserve. And he heard about it in late April, and May 15th, the government bond auction came along, and Paul Moser did the same thing he'd done before and gamed the auction. And at this point, John Goodfriend, the destiny of Solomon was straight downhill from that point forward, because essentially he heard about a pyromaniac, and he'd let it keep the box of matches. And at Wells, my understanding, there was an article in the Los Angeles Times maybe a couple of years before the whole thing was exposed, and somebody ignored that article. And Charlie has beaten me over the head all the years at Berkshire, because we have 390,000 employees, and I will guarantee you that some of them are doing things that are wrong right now. There's no way to have a city of 390,000 people and not need a policeman or a court system. And some people don't follow the rules, and you can incentivize the wrong behavior. You've got to do something about it when it happens. Wells has become, Exhibit 1 in recent years, but if you go back a few years, you can almost go down. There's quite a list of banks where people behave badly, and where I would not say, I don't know the specifics at Wells, but I've actually written in the annual report that they talk about moral hazard if they allow people the shareholders of Wells have paid a price. The shareholders of Citicorp paid a price. The shareholders of Goldman Sachs, the shareholders of Bank of America, they paid billions and billions of dollars, and they didn't commit the acts. And of course, nobody did go. There were no jail sentences, and that is infuriating. But the lesson that was taught was not that the government would bail you out, because the government got its money back, but the shareholders of the various banks paid many, many billions of dollars. And I don't have any advice for anybody running a business, except when you find out something is leading to bad results or bad behavior, if you're in the top job, you've got to take action fast. And that's why we have hotlines. That's why when we get certain anonymous letters, we turn them over to the audit committee or to outside investigators, and I will guarantee you that we will have some people who do things that are wrong at Berkshire in the next year, 5 years, 10 years, and 50 years. You cannot have 390,000 people, and it's the one thing that always worries me about my job, because I've got to hear about those things, and I've got to do something about them when I do hear about them.